Hi, this is my Zenith CH701 that I've had for over 12 years. Whilst I'm sitting at the end of the runway waiting for my cue to take off, I'll just run over what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a short takeoff. I've got the aircraft fairly light, about half fuel and just myself, one person on board. I weigh about 175 pounds. I'll be giving it full power with a zero flap takeoff and rotating fairly early. I'm taking off on a sealed surface and there's about 5 knots of headwind. I expect this takeoff roll to be in the order of 2 seconds. It'll climb out fairly steep. The aircraft has some high lift devices which will enable this. It has full span leading edge slats on the front edges of the wing, and also a specially designed tail plane, which is an aerofoil section upside down, and the blast of the propeller which will force the airstream down over the top of the cabin, down the fuselage, bathe the tail plane in air, and further assisted by the fact that under the elevators are about 16 vortex generators which will really make this tail plane come alive. I'm going to climb to about 150 feet with zero flap, and then things will start to get fairly busy, as I'm going to simultaneously close the throttle and pitch down to approximately 30 degrees nose down to get good forward speed as I do a glide approach, selecting full flap and doing a fairly steep approach as though we were crossing trees on final, and then a relatively short landing. The points I'll be looking out for on takeoff is to ensure that as soon as I get airborne I will accelerate to above its normal engine out stalling speed, so that in the event of a power failure the aircraft isn't going to stall. And the next thing of course is during the approach to maintain a speed of approximately 55 knots. On a full glide, full flap approach, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One is the maximum airspeed of 55 knots with full flap out, and the other is to maintain pretty close to that speed as you commence the flare. Otherwise, due to the lack of inertia, speed will wash off very quickly and you won't be able to complete the flare. You'll hit the ground pretty hard in a high sink rate, so one must be ready to add power in case this is going to happen. I'm climbing out now, and I'll be positioning the aircraft on final, flying down the runway as though I'm going to be crossing a line of trees and then landing on a runway shortly thereafter. Today, however, my imaginary trees are going to be about 400 feet high. This will flatten the profile somewhat because I'll be approaching below normal 1G level flight stall speed, and then getting an initial very steep descent. However, once the speed establishes at 55, of course the profile will flatten out and carry me further into the field. That's what I'm doing today, just so that the aircraft remains in view for a reasonable period during the descent. Otherwise, crossing these imaginary trees at 100 feet and descending, it's all over very, very quickly.